6 high growth stocks to watch next week, my friends. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I got the clothing line to prove that fact. And today we're going to be speaking about some juicy growth stocks, my friends. So this is a series we've done on the channel for a while now. Usually I speak about 10 stocks, okay? And I gotta be honest, guys, I just thought it was getting a bit stale. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a few stocks that are of particular interest to me. So this week in particular, you know, there's 6 companies I'm looking at. And what I really want to do is I want to focus on the recent price action. And I want to try and let you guys know what I think could happen next. What I want to do is I want to let you guys know what I actually think is going to happen price-wise. We're going to take a look at some charts. And hopefully we're going to find some nice entry points so we can all make some money. So right before we get into our first company of today, which is Palantir, can I please ask you, my friends, to hit that juicy like button? It really helps me out. It's free. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know, what are you keeping an eye on next week? And please, if you are indeed new around here, hit that juicy red subscribe button. Join the family of investors. We are growing nice and quick, guys. It feels like only yesterday we hit 50,000 and now we're up above 56,000. You guys are crazy. If you're interested, please hit the first link in the description. Sign up to become a patron. You will get full access to my private Discord group. I bought 2 new companies this week, one of which is up 15%, one of which is up 30% in less than a week. So if you want full access to my buy and sell alerts and access to over 40 private channels with over 420 investors, hit that link, baby. And if you want some free stocks, Webull is willing to give you 4 free stocks valued up to $1,600 for depositing $100 into a new account. That's great. That's the easiest money you are ever going to make, my friends. So if you want those 4 free stocks, hit the second link. Now, the very first company of today is Palantir. A lot of hype surrounding these guys right now. A lot of excitement. So, these guys actually went public a little while ago, okay? Back pretty much the very start of October, the very end of September. And it was very underwhelming. A lot of you guys probably remember this. Nothing happened. I remember my Discord. So many people were really excited for this. We thought we were going to shoot up. And nothing happened. And nothing happened, guys, for pretty much an entire month. Until very recently. 5th of November, okay, we went from 1050 and since then we've come all the way up to where we are today. So we have highs of about 1950, we're currently sitting at about 1818. Now we don't have the most price action to work off here. What I will say is there's no real gaps and it has somewhat been healthy-ish price action. Oh, there's been buyers, there has been sellers. Obviously the buyers are winning by a long shot right now. But at the end of the day, going up this quickly over the span of, you know, a couple of weeks, it's not the healthiest in the whole wide world. I am expecting a little bit of a pullback. More so, I'm actually hoping for a little bit of a pullback. I did open a position in these guys. This is the company we're up 15% in, but it was a small position, and I explained why in the Discord because I thought we were either going to shoot up or shoot down relatively quickly. So now I'm in the process of building a position. So I would rather do that on pullbacks than on big upwards moves. So for me, honestly, I'm looking towards the $17 mark, and then furthermore, I'm actually looking all the way down towards the $14.50, $15 mark. I think it depends what kind of news we have. You can see we're well above our 50-day moving average, but we don't even have a 50-day moving average. The MACD has always been very bullish, and right now it's very, very close to potentially turning into this downtrend. So they're the kind of prices I'm going to be watching to add to my position, you know. Potentially $16.50 to $17 a share, but more than likely I'd be really happy somewhere around $14.50 to $15 a share. If you see this $14.50 mark right here, you know, there's a lot of price action here. There's a lot of little candles. These are all 4-hour candles, by the way, touching off of that area. So it's an area of interest. I wouldn't say it's a support or resistance yet, but it's an area of interest. So that's the first company of today that I think is worth keeping an eye on, guys. I definitely don't think from a long-term point of view we're at a bad price point. I would just like it to be a little bit better. Okay, second company of today. I have no price action to even go off of here, okay? CIIC Arrival. So I made a full video on these guys not too long ago, and again, I opened up an initial position in these guys. We went up 30-ish%. Now you guys know how we do on this channel. When it comes to EV stocks, I get you guys the best information humanly possible. All I'm going to say is keep your eyes peeled for a video next week. But more realistically, what I want to say is look at this absolutely huge gap. Now you guys know on this channel, I like using gaps as a metric to, you know, estimate if we're going to go back down in value or if we're going to keep going back up. Because the large majority of the time, these up gaps get filled. More than 90% of the time, in fact. And there's 2 very clear ones right here. So look, I love being up 30%. I really do. But again, I would love a much bigger position. I only have 100 shares. I would love 300 to 500 shares in this company if I got them at the right price. So I really am looking towards the $14 mark first of all, you know, right towards this gap. And then it depends. If there's enough downwards pressure, if there is a massive sell-off, I know people aren't going to like hearing it, but I think there's a very realistic possibility we come back down towards the low 11s. What I will say is I don't necessarily think this gap has to be filled. We've seen it with SPACs many times, okay? They go public, we have an initial jump, and then that's kind of the first real day we have to go off. There's still a lot of SPACs that do have, you know, gaps from the $10 mark. That happens when hype gets involved. So I would think the odds of this gap getting filled here around, you know, the mid 13s is quite high, but coming all the way back down towards 11, I would honestly say is quite low. But it is something you guys should be aware of. It always is a possibility. But if you want more information on this company, click the link that will be in the corner of the screen right now. I made a full 20-something minute video on these guys, my friends. And again, I called this in the Discord before this massive jump here. We're all up pretty much 30%. You're playing yourself if you're not in there. Okay, some of the regulars, the ones that we actually have a lot of price action to go off. First of all, we're looking at Ride. We're looking at Lordstown Motors. Now my biggest position in the stock market after we've gone on this absolutely beautiful run up. But you can see I have a lot of things drawn out on this chart, and to be honest, it's quite a messy looking chart at the moment. A few things have to be understood for EV stocks right now. Last week was not a normal week at all. Look, I think everybody knows my portfolio is EV heavy. I was up over 20% last week. Now, of course, that feels awesome. It's really good, you know, it's cool, it's a lot of money. That's not a normal week. And in general, when things go up very quickly, they come down very quickly. So we're looking at Lordstown Motors in particular. So I had these trend lines here laid out for a very considerable period of time. We were respecting them all the way back since the end of October. Now you'll see here, okay, we briefly fell just below. We opened here. We opened above the trend line and we created this small gap here. What's very interesting, okay, is that gap pretty much was created on a line of resistance I had laid out at about 18.93 a share. So the fact there is now a gap here and there is what could now be an area of support here, the odds of coming back down here after going up so quickly, in my personal opinion, are decent. The other thing I'd like to note is, look, our 50-day moving average is so bullish. Look what happened last time we were up this high. That was when we hit our peaks, and that was when we ultimately crashed back down for a considerable period of time. Now, I honestly don't expect anything like this to happen whatsoever, but a 25 to 30% crash wouldn't surprise me. It's very sad to say it. It wouldn't surprise me. It doesn't have to happen. There's a couple of scenarios I could see playing out here, okay? What I would consider best case is not us just shooting up towards all-time highs above $30 a share. What I would actually consider best case is us having some more downward candles, getting back into this trend line here. More than likely somewhere between $22 and $25 a share if it happens, you know, before Wednesday of next week. And then hopefully just continuing a healthy upwards move. If that happens, I'm going to be relatively okay. Not necessarily worst case, but a bad case scenario, I think we come all the way back down here. We break the trend lines, we break our line of support, we fill this gap. And then it depends if the buyers push us back up or if the sellers have the power. And then essentially worst case scenario, I think we go back down towards those lows around the mid to high 15s. I really don't see that happening though, my friends. I think the potential is for us to briefly at least make all-time highs is actually very high. But I'm thinking from the mind of a long-term investor, not a swing trader, not a day trader, okay? I'm not trying to play us up to 30 and then sell us back down. I'm trying to find the best positions for me to add to my already considerable position in this company for a long-term investment. I'm up considerably in these guys. I think I'm up over 60% in the company. So I don't just want to buy randomly. I want to make sure if I put more money into the company, I'm comfortable doing it. The last time I bought these guys was actually at $14.40. I bought 90 more shares all the way back down here. That paid off well. So sometimes if you're a long-term investor, being patient can pay off very handsomely. I know a lot of people were questioning if I really believed in the company when I wasn't buying in the 19s or in the 20s, but I did. I just respected what was happening. So that's kind of where I stand with Lordstown Motors. I think the odds of all-time highs happening are considerably higher than they were only a week ago, but I also think very realistically we should be looking towards anywhere in the realms of $19 to $25 a share. Okay, next up we have everybody's new favorite. Okay, we have Chargepoint. So this is a company, guys, I spoke about these guys a long time ago. I'm up, I think, over 85% in this company now. I know a lot of my Patreons are as well. We're feeling very good about this company. Now, there's a couple of things I really like, okay? There's no gaps made here until literally Friday. So there was a gap up Friday. We went from here. We opened up at 26.12. There is a very small gap, okay? About a 20 cents worth of a gap. What I find interesting is that this came directly after what looks to me like an institutional candle. What that means is I just think that a lot of big banks, big institutions, people who are playing with tens of millions or hundreds of millions were buying, not just me or you investing a few hundred or a few thousand. I also find it quite interesting there was a lot of price action on Friday in general, but look, not a lot actually happened. So, I mean, we went from 25.48 all the way up here to about 28.66. but we closed back down pretty much where we opened. So that shows me there's some indecisiveness in the market. I also see a gap. I'm expecting a pullback. One of two things I expect to happen. Either we just fill this gap in. Maybe we come to, 24.85, or else we come a little bit higher, 25.25, or else I could see us filling in some of this institutional candle right here. So I can see us coming down to maybe the high 22s or the low 23s. In general though, I do think SPE/Chargepoint is still primed to continue going up in value in the short, medium and long term. It's very hard to predict if we're going to see a much bigger pullback. If I do, sadly, I think we have to start looking back towards these kind of levels here. Maybe around the 16.50 to even 18 range. But I'm hoping that if we come down this low towards, the high 22s, we can just bounce back and continue an upwards trend. This company's doing fantastically. Lots of good positive news coming out for these guys. So there's no reason they can't keep going up in my opinion. So Workhorse, I have pretty much called to a T for the last couple of weeks. For a long time, again, pretty much the end of October, we respected these trend lines. The overall market, the overall EV market at least, was going up. We broke out. I said that if we go through 22.90 with any sort of momentum, $26 is the next price point I'm looking towards. As of Friday, we closed at 25.78. Now here is where things get tricky. I think we are either in for another 10 to 20% upwards move or a 10 to 20% downwards move, and I think it's going to be very, very hard to call. There is a lot of bullish momentum here right now, and there is a lot of bullish momentum for EV companies in general right now. So I do think if as of Monday, okay, there is still bullish market sentiment, especially if the broader markets can start to go up a little bit more, not just the EV markets. I think Workhorse wants to make a push to all-time highs for the third time. If we make that push, okay, here are two price points I am looking at. I'm looking right about here at $28. Now I know that's not an all-time high. That's not even a 10% up move, but there's a lot of price action there. It's worth looking at. I would consider this to be an area of resistance right now. I mean, look, we tried to push through it here, we came back down. We tried to push through it here, we came back down. We pushed through it here very briefly, and we came back down, okay? So this right here is an area we have to look at. If we break through that $28 mark, I think we're clearing $30 a share in all honesty. Are we going to stay there? Is it going to result in a big crash again? I don't know. That's where things get tricky for me. It's very tough to know that right now. There's a lot more good news for this company now than there was the last time we were up there. So potentially we can make new all-time highs. Maybe we can stay up there. I wouldn't bet on it personally. Now, the other thing I see happening, you can see we're way above our trend lines, okay? And we respect these trend lines for 2.5 weeks or so. I could see us pulling back down towards here, towards the $23 mark. I'd be happy if we bounced off that and continued to go back up. If $23 becomes a new area of support, I think the odds of us getting back to 30 sometime in the next month or so are very high. If we don't, if we continue to crash, I think we have to start looking back down towards 1924-ish. Again, a lot of price action here. That's where our 50-day moving average is as of this moment in time. It's more than a coincidence. It's a very interesting price point. I know that might not be the most helpful because as of late, I have been given much more precise predictions in regards to Workhorse. I think it's getting to a stage where one of two big moves is going to happen, and it depends on broader market sentiment. Nothing we can do to change that personally, in my opinion. I don't even think it matters if Workhorse comes out with any big news or anything. I think it genuinely just is going to be down to what the market wants to do. So apologies, I can't really be much more helpful, but I really want to see what happens. That's why I'm including them in today's video, because if we can make moves back down here or even towards here, I think we could be getting some nice buying opportunities, my friends. And then the very last company I want to speak about today, because honestly guys, it's a surprising one to me. It's Virgin Galactic, okay? And I did not expect this upwards move whatsoever. In fact, I expected us to be going in the opposite direction at this stage. Instead of being where we are right now, instead of being at about, what, 23, I thought we were going to be closer to the 18s, 17s. Once we got the news that the test flight was delayed, yet again, no surprise for this company, I really did think it was going to move us down. And look what happened. We gapped down. But the market just decided, you know what, this is a good value, this is good price, I'm going to buy more. It was very surprising to me. One thing I want to point out, I see a lot of institutional buying when I look at this chart. Look at some of these candles. You'll all be aware Virgin Galactic sees 10% moves over the span of an hour or two, a lot more often than many other companies. I don't think I speak about this very much, and I don't think many people do, but I do genuinely think Virgin Galactic is very manipulated. Now it's fine, because I do think ultimately if you're a long-term investor, it's going to work out in your favor. But in the short term, I think that's why we see these massive, massive moves. I do want to point out, look what happened last time we got to these prices. That's when we went on our last big crash all the way down to 17. And again, around this price range here, we've had two gaps very near to it. And ultimately, they led to crashes. Now, if for some reason, okay, we can bounce off here, if we can open green on Monday, again, I think we're in for a big move, and I think we could be approaching those all-time highs again, which is surprising to say for me personally. If not, there's three price points I'm looking towards, okay? The first one I have laid out right here. It's that $21 mark, okay? Then somewhere around here, somewhere around $17 to $18 mark, and then what I've been saying for a long time, where Virgin Galactic in my opinion is an absolutely amazing long-term buy, is around $15 a share. That's the least likely outcome in my opinion. I think some really bad delays would have to happen. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think you guys are probably seeing a bit of a trend here. I think next week's going to be a big week for our growth stocks, our EV stocks in particular, but for a lot of growth stocks. Whenever you go off the back of such a bullish week, I mean, guys, I know a lot of people made 20 to 30+% last week. It's awesome. That's not normal. And so a lot of the time when that happens, we're going to see either a big downwards movement or hopefully, best case scenario, we boom up again. So just strap yourselves in, you know, have some conviction on the stock choices that you have made. That's what I'm trying to do right now. That's what I'm trying to share with you guys. Regardless of what happens with the companies I spoke about today, I am comfortable holding and I'll be comfortable buying if we go down to the price targets I've set out for myself. And if we keep going up, happy days. I'm making money, you know. It's a win-win when you're a long-term investor, baby. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video all the way till the end. If you're hearing this right now, you, my friend, are a true legend, and I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that like button. Maybe drop me a little comment down below. Let me know what you're watching. And please do subscribe if you're new around here, my friends. The growth lately has been immense. Again, if you are interested in joining my private Discord group, hit that first link in the description. You'll get all of my buy and sell alerts. You'll get charts like this, not just from me, but from other people as well. Fully private chats. It's awesome. And if you want 4 free stocks, hit that second link, my friends. It really is that simple. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I hope the market treats you well next week. Have a good one, guys. Peace.